Hi everyone, welcome to BohoMystic. My name is Marinelly, and if you're returning, I really appreciate your support on this channel. And if you're new here, we'd love for you guys to join the fam. If you guys like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, or even share it with someone that you think may be interested. So today we're asking Neptune, what does its final retrograde in Pisces have in store for us? What is it telling us? Or how is it affecting us? I've definitely been feeling the push and pull of Neptunian energy. I've definitely been feeling the haze. Yeah, I think haze is a good word. You know, Neptune's asking us to be in alignment with our ideal self, or what we set out to be, an ideal representation of who we are. And of course, the area would be where this is happening in your sign. But Neptune is pushing partnerships for me, pushing balance, and has been for a long time. And I think that I've been feeling that push and pull of what truly is the concept of balance. You know, balance is not just even Stevens. It really isn't. I think that we get caught up in that fantasy. I think us achieving balance in our lives is realizing not everything needs our focus nor an equal share of something in order for it to be balanced and fair. That's me doing my own introspection of areas in my life where I may need to focus more on and not feel guilty about taking away maybe some resources from one area of my life to furnish the other. Where in the past I've been prey to that, feeling guilty about not having an exact dominance over certain areas of my life. And I realize it's not possible. But I also don't think that parts of me should be starved in the process either. So let's see what Neptune has to tell us about its retrograde. Its last and final retrograde for quite some time in its own sign of Pisces. Okay, let's go with these. You know what? Let's start with an astrology card. What does the collective need to know regarding this retrograde, please? How funny is that? Perfectionist, Virgo. Exactly what I was just talking about. Allowing myself the freedom to not be a perfectionist. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Analytical, planning, perfection, hard work, helpful, detail-oriented, reliable, confident, skeptical, overly critical, and ruler of a sixth house. I think that we have to be careful of not falling into the illusion of an attainable perfection. Yeah. An illusion of an attainable perfection. I don't know if my reading that I just recorded on grieving and receiving and emotional overload and emotional overwhelm is up yet. So if it is, you've already heard me say, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And the fact that that's coming out so strong right now is exactly what Neptune is saying. Or it's what it hopes we take away from this retrograde. For us to be able to be clever enough, introspective enough, or to be able to see through the fog that an unattainable perfection is unrealistic. And let's not lose sight or throw away everything that could be good and wonderful and loving and beautiful in our lives because it's not perfect. Wow. Okay, let's get a couple of these. Bottom of the deck, we have shopping mall, variety of stores and shopping center. This is breaking. Winding path, curving trail, twisting route, and meandering passage. And this one is jail, incarceration, prison, justice, and punishment. Oh, I think there's a wind. I hear what there is. This is going into what I was saying about Libra, which I was alluding to with partnerships and balance and justice. You know, justice and balance necessarily are not a one size fits all. And sometimes it is a winding path. Exactly what I was just saying about not letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. Sometimes it's a winding path to reach that justice, to reach a balance in your life, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, within your relationships, within your society. But it doesn't mean that we throw the baby out with the bathwater. Your ideals do not have to be completely scrapped because they can't be 100% acted upon or delivered. But sometimes a 90% is great. And you can keep working on the 10. Let's do one of these. The collective, please. What does Neptune have to tell us? What further information on this reading do we need, please, Spirit? Spell for abundance. There's 2 candles, a carafe, a wine glass, a glass of water, like a coffee cup, grapes. I'm getting this as like a 7 of cups. You know, a lot of us can be spoiled for choice, and we become paralyzed with that. It's difficult for us to move through or move forward in a decision when we have too many options in front of us, or we suffer from analysis paralysis. There is something about the spoiled for choice. Sometimes we can get so caught up in, this is tough love, thinking we deserve more, or because, again, things aren't perfect. They're not perfectly balanced. We feel entitled to more. We would rather eschew what we're being offered because it's not to our standard. Make sure that we are not holding out for this idea of perfection and however or whatever it is that we consider abundance, and not appreciating what is coming to us. Because maybe that ideal is coming down the road. Maybe this is the beginning, the trickling in of gifts and abundance being given to you, and more is to come. And also, it all depends at times on how you react and appreciate what you are given. Gratitude begets gratitude. Love begets love. And I think that we can lose sight of that sometimes. Yeah, there is a reckoning of the ideal version of who we want to be, the ideal version of the life we want to live, and the ideal way things are done in our lives. or what we're going to accept and what we won't accept. I feel a very, like, this idea of wanting a very privileged experience when we are failing to realize that at this moment in time, that may not be possible, or that it's not attainable right now. And that we are potentially denying ourselves gifts that are being given to us freely and lovingly, or gifts or stepping stones to achieving what we want down the road. All right, let's get some tarot. All right, Neptune, what else do you have for us? Bottom of the deck, we have Death card. We are in Scorpio season. As I was telling you, I just did this video, which I think I'm going to entitle Grieving and Receiving. I'm not sure if it's up already or it will be up after this. I'm getting an old paradigm of demands and expectations are falling away, are being revamped, are being revisited, so that we can be successful in this day and age, in this moment in our lives, in this changing of planets in astrological phenomenon. We are being asked to grow and change as the world is growing and changing. It's about being malleable and adaptable, even with the fear of not knowing, even with things being cloudy and possibly illusory. Even if we are partnering with the moon, I mean, we aren't talking about being retrograde in Pisces. We are still being asked to change and to transform into possibly a better version of ourselves, a more ascended version of ourselves, I think, a more global version of ourselves, a more communal version of ourselves. Underneath that, we have the 10 of emotions. That's the 10 of cups. I think that we are inundated with all the water. And this is going to be a death that is ebbing and flowing. I think it's asking us to flow with this energetic frequency, with this energetic pull of this Neptune retrograde in Pisces. We are being asked to allow and let go. I'm getting like lagoos in the runes. There's change with lagoos. There's the bend in the river. And it's about letting yourself just be taken. But let's say you wanted only a straight shot down that river and there's a bend in the river. Are you going to stop going down the river because it's not exactly how you wanted it to be? No. At some point, your will have to be changed. Your understanding and acceptance of what is needs to change. And then you recalibrate, you readjust of how to get to where you want to be. But it's working within the parameters so that you can be successful. This is breaking here, and I want to see what this is. The 9 of voices. It's the 9 of swords. I think our minds are racing. I think our minds are trying to balance with our spiritual side, our intuition, our heart. It's like, it's everything. I think that we are under siege energetically. I do. I mean, I feel that way. I feel like I'm pulling myself out of it, but there is kind of like a hangover from it that's hard to shake off. And I just said hangover. 9 of Swords. Usually it's depicted with a person in bed with all the swords about to fall on their head, right? Yeah. Some of you may be experiencing headaches. Especially if you've been really emotional. I could see that. So let's take a look at these cards and see what else we had for you. Wow. Venus, love. This came out in my previous reading. I think we are being asked, I hate to say it this way, reasonable expectation of love. Because I believe love is amazing. And it's everything. But when I say that, or at least what I feel when I say that is, ego has to be removed from true love. So if we're going in, again, thinking of only how we want love to be expressed in our lives, in every which way, externally, internally, everywhere, we're going to always feel shorted. Because eventually, there's going to be a chink in the armor. Someone won't be able to give everything all the time. And that love will not be able to flourish. Then we have Capricorn, the CEO. Driven, stability, patience, persistence, materialistic, ambitious, cautious, practical, traditional, workaholic, detached, ruler of the 10th house. Yeah. I think that these are the attachments. I love how they came out together. You know, Capricorn, of course, is also the devil card. The ambition. That's good. Was it ambition? Ambitious. But yeah, I was going to say ambition. It's the ambition of having control over your life to such an extent that when things do not work out the way that you have defined them to be, it kind of stops you in your tracks and you feel powerless, where you could potentially work towards changing your tactics, changing your definition of what success would be for you, and be able to then successfully achieve what it is that you seek to achieve. Factory, industrial production, manufacturing process, and assembly line. I'm getting something so strongly here about ego. Venus, Capricorn, and factory. It's like, love is not cookie cutter. Love is not defined by how you say it should be defined. And what and how you define love does not mean that that is how everyone else should or does. There's an egoic theme here that I think Neptune retrograde is really calling attention to. It's kind of like showing us the duplicity, hypocritical opinions that we sometimes have in the collective. And that makes so much sense. It's unearthing in having us see ourselves in such a raw and honest way. I mean, it makes me uncomfortable even talking about it. And I think it will make some people uncomfortable watching this. But we are being told that it's not a one size fits all. And for those of us that fall into that trap of thinking that the world is defined by them, there may be a rude awakening down the road. Because it's not. And I go back to the respect and grace that you so desire for yourself regarding your opinions and what you do in your life. There has to be that partnership and balance with what you give to others in that same vein. You can't ask for one and not give the same thing. So what else do we have? We have the mirror. Oh my gosh, mirror, reflect. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I do feel good that what I was feeling and is exactly what's coming out. Yeah, I mean, we are being asked to, and there's even clouds in there in the mirror. We are being asked to see ourselves in many ways, have our own reckoning, have our own judgment day. And I think this is going to be expressed and seen throughout this retrograde. 5 of inspiration, that's the 5 of wands, absolutely, with the Capricorn. The Empress with the factory. Oh, wow. All right, I just got a saying that my mom would say. I hope I remember it properly. And it comes from factory and Empress. No puedes pedir una pera al olmo. That is, you cannot ask for a pear from an elm tree because it's not a pear tree. It's an elm tree. So that's all I heard when I saw these two together. And if I follow that vein with these two cards, it's everything again is not cookie cutter. Perfection. She's the Empress. This perfection cannot be duplicated in a factory. It has to be earned. It has to be created. It has to be birthed. It has to be balanced, right? The Empress is all the queens in one. She is here to nurture, to create, to sustain, to love herself, though, also. And you can't ask that. You won't be able to duplicate that from a factory line. Or you can't bypass it by buying it. Because we had this shopping mall at the bottom of this deck. You can't buy an Empress. You need to become the Empress. You can't just buy people's emotions and buy people's feelings and buy people's respect. You need to earn these things. And that goes back into what I was saying over and over again, where you can't ask and demand love and respect from others without giving that in return. Yeah, there's something like that here. And it's about seeing yourself clearly, foibles and all. And not getting upset with yourself, accepting yourself, forgiving yourself, and moving on from it, and incorporating everything that you're learning. Seeing how much good is out there, how many gifts are being shown you, how many things are coming your way. that you may have turned away but are now coming back around for you to appreciate. Moments of gratitude, moments to show gratitude. All right, what else do we have? The Magician, the High Priestess, and the Two of Inspiration, which is the Two of Wands. This is you figuring this out and moving forward. This is you looking within. I mean, it's the High Priestess. Looking within, listening, soaking up what it is that she can decipher for you, what she is picking up on, what your intuition is picking up on. And start manifesting from this new place. Because I really do think, especially with the Two of Wands here and what I said in the past, you are being asked to transform, to become a new person, to revisit old ideals and old constructs and break them down with Scorpio. Did we not? Yeah, with the Death card. And rebuild a new frame from you to work from. It's like rebooting an upgraded version of you. And that's where you start manifesting from. Those are the tweaks that are being asked of you. But it only comes from you listening within, from you being truthful with yourself, and be willing to look behind that curtain into the darkness, into the murky waters, and find your way through. Because let's not forget that the moon encourages trust and surrendering and faith that you can do this. Faith that what you want and what you need will be at the end of that road when the sun comes up. Faith that the sun will come up. A new day, a new horizon will always meet you at the end. So let's not lose sight of that. I think that we are all walking through this mist. We are all having these realizations. And we are all being invited a chance for a redo in many ways. And I've been feeling that for a long time. So let's not snub this retrograde. Let's not think we're better than what is being shown to us in that mirror. Let's be honest with ourselves and see where there's room for growth, where there's room for tweaks. And let's seek that part of us that is looking for authenticity, love, and bounty for all, not just for ourselves. All right, my dear loves, that's what I have for you. And I believe that's what Neptune retrograde has for you. I send you my love. I send you my support, but I also extend my hand to you down this path because I'm right there with you, and so is everyone else. If we link up, we won't have to be afraid to go down that moon path. Till next time.